Hey guys, Logan LDG here. I just wanted to make a quick video going over the first 2 days we've seen of Worlds in the play-ins, give a little bit of a reaction, analysis, and prediction for the impact I think this will have on the tournament overall. I'm recording this right now at the end of day two. Tomorrow we have 4 games, I believe, to play, and then seeding will be completely decided with any tiebreaker games that might happen. And then the next day, day four, we'll go into best of fives and determining who actually makes it to the main stage. But right off the bat, I figured could go over a couple things that I've seen so far in play-ins. I think looking at my prediction between my tier list and kind of the preview video and everything I saw about group draw going in, I feel like my prior predictions kind of mostly shook out. I had LNG in first in Group A with Hanwha Life second, and then kind of a clumping here of the wild cards. I didn't really think anybody was going to really knock these two off of the top. I had Cloud9 near the top of Group B. Biggest miss so far, I guess, is I had Beyond Gaming up there with them. I thought Beyond Gaming would also come out stronger. But I did say that Detonation Focus Me was definitely a team to watch out for, and they had a lot of potential, and I think they've been showing some great things so far through 2 days of the tournament. Their only loss right now coming to Cloud9. Basically, what I'm looking at here is the 4 games left to play that are going to determine seeding. Tomorrow, at this time of recording, which is October 6th, so October 7th is when these games will be played, we're going to have LNG Esports versus Infinity, and then Peace versus Red in Group A. And Group B will feature Cloud9 versus Unicorns of Love, and then Detonation Focus Me versus Beyond Gaming. So in the 2 games we have are the battles of the 3-0 versus 0-3 teams, and then the seeding battles between the middle of the pack. Hanwha Life Esports and Galistray already are set where they are. Hanwha's 3-1. Nobody can catch them. So they're guaranteed top 2. Theoretically, they could have a tiebreaker for first if LNG were to lose to Infinity. Same applies for Cloud9. They could end up in a tiebreaker for first if they lose to Unicorns of Love and Detonation Focus Me beats Beyond. In my opinion, those are kind of unlikely scenarios. I think LNG is going to handily take care of Infinity unless something crazy happens, and I would also strongly favor Cloud9 over Unicorns of Love. In my opinion, Infinity and UOL are going to finish 0-4, and they will be the first 2 teams eliminated from the World Championship. Thanks for playing and all. Thanks for showing up, but playing stage is tough. You get to play each other team 1 time, so all it takes is 1 bad draft or 1 bad level 1. And, losing a single game to another play-in team, like if you're Infinity, losing that game to Red on day 1, it's tough to come back from that. It's just the nature of best of ones. And with such a condensed schedule, you don't have that much time to really look at things and improve. So it's tough for sure. Nobody's going to say it's easy. But I think UOL and Infinity are both doomed and may have to go airport fast. The other 2 games, I think, are very, very interesting. Peace versus Red, I'm really, really interested in. This is going to decide seeding, basically, for their best of 5. The winner will get the higher seed and get side selection in the best of 5 between these 2. I think it's going to end up being Peace and Red in 3rd and 4th. And then the winner will play the 2nd seed out of Group B, which is still to be determined. And I think LNG will end 4-0, automatically qualify, and Hanwha Life will be 2nd and be playing the winner of 3rd, 4th here from Group B. Looking over here at Group B, I think Cloud9 is also going to handle Unicorns of Love. They will go 4-0 and auto-qualify into the main stage. And I'm very interested in Detonation Focus Me versus Beyond Gaming. This is the most hyped matchup tomorrow, in my opinion, followed by Peace and Red. I think both of these matches are going to be very close, and I think they're both important. Detonation Focus Me has their future, their destiny is in their own hands. If they beat Beyond Gaming tomorrow, they guarantee at least top two, and could potentially get first if Cloud9 gets upset by UOL. So they have the potential to finish 3-1, come out in second, and face the winner of Peace Red in their best of five, which put Detonation Focus Me in a really strong spot. They would have side selection in that best of five, and they only need to win that one best of five, and they would qualify to main stage, which would be huge for the LJL. Would really be incredible to see them kind of come through this group and end up at main stage, and I think it would mean a lot to the fans of the region if that were to happen. In my opinion, I think they can do it. I think I would favor them over Beyond Gaming, not by a ton. I think, but like I said, these matches are going to be close, 55-45 or something. But I think Detonation Focus Me have looked really good when they're not playing Cloud9. So if I were to give a prediction for how these games shake out and how the seeding is going to end up, I think Detonation Focus Me will beat Beyond Gaming, which will put them at 1-3. And then I think Beyond Gaming and Galistray will play a best of five. And I think Beyond wins this best of five, in my opinion, which would then send them to play Hanwha Life Esports in a best of five to see who makes it to main stage. And that becomes a very interesting series. I would favor Hanwha, but it's going to be a battle, in my opinion. I could definitely see that, you don't feel safe if you're Hanwha. I think Hanwha is more scared of Beyond Gaming than they are of Galistray Esports. And if I'm mispronouncing that, I apologize. But that's how I see that shaking up. I think Red is going to beat Peace, which is sad. I love Oceania, the Aussie boys. Who have been carrying NA in their world hopes. But I think Red is a super smart team. I think their draft and their read on the meta at Worlds has been super solid generally. And I think they are looking, they've obviously struggled against LNG and Hanwha Life, which I think is understandable because those teams have a lot of talent. They're good teams, relatively speaking. But I think that Red has looked like a smart team. And I think when they're playing against other wildcard or developing regions or whatever you want to say, who are closer to their skill level, like Infinity, like Peace, I think the fact that they are a smarter team will push them over the edge. And I would favor them in a best of five. Like even say, for example, Red loses the best of one to Peace, I would still favor Red in the best of five over Peace, even if they don't have side selection. That's kind of how I see it. And then I think the winner of this goes on to play Detonation Focus Me, and I think that would be a very exciting best of five. Say if it's Red versus Detonation Focus Me, I think both of those teams are feeling pretty good about their chances, going in there. I think they both would feel like we have a real shot at this. We can beat these guys and make main stage, and it would be really big for either region to make it. So there'd be a lot riding on that, and I'd be very interested in watching that. But that's kind of how I think it's going to shake out. We'll obviously see tomorrow, and obviously crazy stuff could happen. There could be a lot of tiebreakers, right? Detonation Focus Me could lose to Beyond Gaming, and then we have a whole lineup of 2-2 here, three-way tie that is going to need to get resolved somehow. There could be something happen where, say, Unicorns of Love upsets Cloud9 and Beyond Gaming loses Detonation Focus Me. We would have a tiebreaker for first, second, and a tiebreaker for fourth, fifth. Which would obviously be pretty hype. Similar situations over here in Group A, but how likely that is, in my opinion, not very. I'm pretty confident the 3-0 teams are going to beat the 0-3 teams, but it's a best of one. Anything can happen, so definitely tune in if you're able, because I think we will see some, if not highest quality, some entertaining games with teams playing for their tournament lives already by the time we get to day 3. Theoretically, nobody right now is eliminated. Everybody still has their destiny in their own hands. But it's just obviously very hard for Infinity and Unicorns of Love. They have to beat the unbeaten teams tomorrow, and then win a tiebreaker. So it's not impossible, but it's obviously tough. Now, otherwise, I think what I want to do is give a power ranking of how I see the teams so far in play-ins, ranking the 10 play-ins teams across groups and how strong I think they've been. I'm going to go bottom to top here, starting with 10. And I think the team that has looked the worst so far in play-ins has been Infinity. I think that they've had a tough time adapting to the meta and getting a read on it. I think their drafts have been a little wonky, and they've kind of been exploited fairly consistently. They're 0-3, and they haven't played the strongest team in their group yet. I was rooting for Cody, Latin America faker, but it's been a tough transition so far for them to the world stage. And I think that they're probably going to go home tomorrow. Unfortunately for them, but I think that, they can still be proud winning their region and obviously take this and build off of it going forward. Next, I would probably put UOL. I think Unicorns of Love have been maybe the most disappointing team for me so far, either them or Beyond. I expected more out of both of them. Honestly, I didn't really expect anybody in Group B to go winless, but I think it's highly likely for UOL. So that's tough. They've been a team that have shown up the past year or two for sure from the CIS, but whether it's meta or whatever have it, they've just been struggling so far this year. I also think they go home tomorrow. Next up, I'd probably put Peace here at 8. They have the one win, but in their 2 losses, it looked really bad. Their 2 losses definitely looked worse than Red's 2 losses. I think that, Peace kind of got rolled over both of their games versus Red, who looked very competitive and was on the verge of getting some wins there until everything kind of collapsed and fell apart. So I don't think Peace has looked too great, and I would not favor them in the best of 1 versus Red, and I don't favor them in the best of 5 versus them either. Just going off of power ranking, this power ranking is strictly how teams have looked so far. I put Beyond Gaming at 7. They haven't looked terrific so far. I think they're going to improve. I think they'll turn it around and they'll kind of ramp up. I think they can win tomorrow, and I think they can win a best of 5 and potentially make things interesting, especially now they have their main top laner back in. But so far, they have not impressed me a ton. Then I would probably go... Here, I'd probably go Galistray. I'm not sure if that's their abbreviation either. I'm not sure what their abbreviation is. But we'll just put Gala. I think they're probably right there, and then I'd put Red right here. I think these 2 teams are pretty interchangeable. I think they've looked about competitive with each other. You could really flip them either way, in my opinion. I think they're both going to finish 2-2 at the end of tomorrow. I just give a slight edge to Red because I think that Galatasaray Esports have fallen off kind of in day 2. They look a little worse as it's gone on. I think there maybe teams are getting a better read on them versus I think Red Canids is a very smart team. And I think they'll be fine going forward. I'm pretty high on them. 4th, now this is where it's going to get spicy. I have Hanwha Life. I think Hanwha Life Esports has looked very shaky, in my opinion. I think they nearly lost to Red. I think they didn't look good against Infinity, who I think is the worst team in play-ins. And I'm concerned for them in a best of 5. I think they have a potential to really lose the best of 5. So keep an eye out for that. And if they do make it to main stage, I do not have high hopes for them. I'm lower on them after play-ins than I was before, personally. Then I would put Detonation Focus Me. I think they have generally looked pretty good when not against C9. And I could see them finishing 3-1 and easily qualifying to main stage. I think that they've built on what they showed at MSI. And I think they are a dangerous team who can upset maybe higher ranked teams in a best of one setting. So if you get them in your group, they're a team to, not take lightly for sure. Next up, I'm actually going to put LNG. Now, this might be, NA hopium going crazy, but I really think that C9 has looked good so far in play-ins. They have impressed me. I think that they've had some fun, happy moments where they've gone too aggressive and tried to force too hard, maybe dive a turret too deep and get punished for it. But that's exactly what I want to see in play-ins. I want to see teams go too hard and limit test and see how far can we push this league, because I feel like that is what's going to prepare you for main stage. So everything I've seen from C9 has really encouraged me. I've seen them play a variety of picks. I want to see some more games from Perkz that aren't on Sylas. And, there's obviously some things I want to see them get a bit cleaner on, a bit better at, but they have impressed me so far in play-ins. And LNG is essentially the same. I think LNG has impressed me. I'm a bit higher on LNG going into main stage than I was before play-ins, but I'm quite a bit higher on Cloud9. I think Cloud9 has improved a lot from the last time we've seen them, while LNG looks about how you would expect them to look, which is still very good. Don't get me wrong. It's a very, very good team. But I really wish we could see C9 play LNG. That would be very interesting to me. But odds are we're not going to see that at this World Championship. But it would be an interesting matchup, in my opinion. You could easily swap C9 and LNG here. You could swap DFM HLE. You could make an argument to swap Red and Galistray. All of those would make sense to me. But the tiers are kind of set. I think C9 and LNG are maybe a step better than DFM HLE. I think both of them are better than Red or Galistray. So we'll see how tomorrow looks. Tomorrow could shake everything up, but this is kind of my power ranking right now. My prediction for the 4 teams that are going to make it out of play-ins right now, put the money on the line. I would bet LNG and Cloud9 auto-qualify as the top 2 seeds. And then the winners of the best of 5, I would go Detonation Focus Me. And I'll say Detonation Focus Me over Red Canids 3-1 or 3-2. I'll go 3-1. And then Hanwha Life Esports versus what I believe will be Beyond Gaming. I'd go Hanwha Life Esports 3-2. And if another team surprise qualifies, obviously that's, have to adjust for that. If there's some crazy tiebreakers, who knows? But this is kind of where it stands to me, in my opinion, right now. Let me know if you agree or disagree down below in the comments. And subscribe if you want to see more Worlds content. I will continue to be making videos on and off throughout the tournament. Also down below will be the link to my Twitter, where I do some reactions to the games based on the day. Will also be my Twitch, where I stream League of Legends, other games, and sometimes some analytical content. And then also link to my Discord, where I post about the games and sometimes do live viewing parties. So if you want to get on that, all those links will be down below. Thank you for taking the time to watch, and I hope we get some exciting games tomorrow. Adios.